Brockton's Celestial Ford by Lord Roustabout. This is chapter 2. He had just gone to bed after getting back from his gym workout. My watch alarm woke me up early the next morning, demonstrating my absolute commitment to being a hero. For a chance at a career, I was willing to endure 2 6 o'clocks in the same day. I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. Before I got my powers, I'd run in the evening. It was nice, peaceful, and I had all the time in the world. Now that I have to do more than just cardio, I needed to find another time to run. That turned out to be the ungodly hour of the day where no sane person would be active. After downing a piece of toast and enough coffee to silence the voices telling me this was a terrible idea, and I had a warm bed and a pocket universe waiting for me, I left my apartment and headed for the boardwalk where the other mad people were exercising. I hated them all. Some had the ill manner to smile at me when they ran past. I know it's a Saturday, but there's no place for smiles at this hour of the morning. This is the hour of grimaces that only the desperate would use for exercise. Oh God, that person had one of the jogging strollers with them. You can subject yourself to the madness of early morning workouts, but please spare the next generation. Break the cycle of abuse. Save your children from this hell. My morning run was a straight shot to the coast, then a loop up and down the boardwalk before swinging back to my apartment. It was roughly the same route I had taken when I ran during the sane hours, but now I got to enjoy the piercing rays of the rising sun stabbing at me as they reflected off the bay. I took a short break when I reached the road access to the Proctor HQ. It was a glintering strip of the same force field that protected the rig, extending over the water to shore. The amount of traffic it saw was always light, and at this time of day it was completely empty. It was an impressive piece of tinker tech, both in scale and in how long it had been maintained. That was true for most of the Proctorate headquarters as it hovered above the waves, sending shockwaves out across the surface of the water from each of the emitters at its base. If I was a typical thinker, I'd probably be reacting to all kinds of aspects of this technology. I wonder if that's another way thinkers expose themselves. Does the Proctorate have some kind of monitoring program that watches for people drooling glassy-eyed over their installations? Maybe, but for me, it was just some pretty-looking sci-fi themed architecture. The sound of a motorcycle rumbled from the city, and I turned to see a man in a blue and silver armor peel off the main road onto the force field. As Arnsmester vanished across the way, various people cheered or fished out smartphones. It was early for tourists, but even the locals didn't see the heroes every day. I took another minute to watch as he reached the rig and disappeared into one of the garages. That could be me someday. Well, not exactly. Judging by my passengers' emotional reactions, he was not in favor of the procreate. I'd initially worried it was some kind of aversion to heroics, but there was no reaction on that level for other teams. In fact, the guild got a significantly positive response. The thought of any of the city's gangs got various negative reactions, with the most intense being connected with Coil. I don't know what about him, it was caused a mixture of fear, hatred, and rage that overshadowed even the local Nazis, was enough to make me wary. Given the situation I was in, I had decided to trust my passengers' judgment. It hadn't steered me wrong so far, and considering it was where my powers were coming from, it seemed like a good idea to listen to it. The setting of Arnsmaster was the most interesting thing to happen on my run. Beyond that was just a tour of the visitor-friendly parts of the bay at a time of the day no one should have to endure. Did I mention I don't like mornings? That's where I'm going to have to stop because my mouth is starting to feel terrible if you can't tell from how I'm slowing down and speaking slightly weird. But thank you for listening, if you've even been listening.